Morrison Formation, Utah. 150 million years ago, an Allosaurus stalks a Stegosaurus near a river bend, 12 feet of tail spikes, 5 tons of armored herbivore, and a weapon system that killed more predators than any other defensive adaptation in the Jurassic. Here's what changes everything about this relationship. A fossil discovered in Wyoming in 1996 shows an Allosaurus vertebra with a puncture wound that matches a Stegosaurus tail spike perfectly. The wound shows no healing. That spike went through the spine and killed the predator instantly. This wasn't theoretical danger. This was documented lethality. A study published in 2005 analyzed that same vertebra. The puncture is 1.2 inches in diameter, penetrating 6 inches deep into the neural arch. Angle of entry, 45 degrees downward. The only weapon in Morrison Formation capable of that damage pattern, a Stegosaurus thagomizer, the 4 tail spikes paleontologist Gary Larson named in a cartoon that became scientific nomenclature. But here's the reality. Those spikes weren't just defensive posturing. They were designed to kill. Stegosaurus had the most lethal tail weapon in dinosaur history. 4 spikes, each 2 to 3 feet long, mounted on a tail that could swing at 50 miles per hour. A 2015 biomechanical analysis calculated impact force at 1,500 pounds per spike, enough to puncture hide, crack bone, and sever arteries. Add in the flexibility of the tail, capable of swinging 90 degrees in any direction, and you had a defensive system Allosaurus couldn't counter. And fossil evidence proves Allosaurus kept trying anyway, because Stegosaurus represented the most abundant large prey in Morrison Formation. You couldn't survive as an apex predator in late Jurassic North America without learning to kill the animal most likely to kill you. Allosaurus should have had every advantage. 28 feet long, 2 tons, jaws lined with 70 serrated teeth designed to slice through flesh like a bread knife. A skull built for lateral shaking, grab the prey, thrash violently, tear out chunks of muscle. Bite force measured at 2,000 pounds per square inch. Not T-Rex levels, but enough to crush bone on smaller prey. Add in speed. Trackway evidence suggests Allosaurus could hit 21 miles per hour in short bursts. Long legs, digitigrade stance, built for pursuit and ambush. Binocular vision for depth perception. Arms with 8-inch claws for gripping and holding prey. On paper, this was the perfect medium-weight predator. Fast enough to catch most herbivores, strong enough to kill them efficiently. But Stegosaurus wasn't most herbivores. 20 feet long, 5 tons, more than twice the weight of Allosaurus. Low center of gravity with pillar legs planted wide. You couldn't knock it over, couldn't outmuscle it. And the brain-to-body ratio was irrelevant because Stegosaurus had something better than intelligence. It had automation. The thagomizer operated on reflex. Threat detected. Tail swings. No thought required. A 2018 analysis of Stegosaurus neural pathways revealed enlarged nerve clusters in the sacral region, a second brain that controlled tail movement independently of the head. Reaction time, 0.2 seconds, faster than Allosaurus could dodge. And here's what makes it worse. Those tail spikes weren't mounted symmetrically. 2 spikes pointed backward and slightly up. 2 pointed sideways at 45-degree angles. This created a 270-degree threat zone. Approach from behind, you get spiked. Flank from the side, you get spiked. Try to jump over. The upward-angled spikes catch you mid-leap. Fossil evidence from the Smithsonian shows just how effective this was. A Stegosaurus tail vertebra with stress fractures from repetitive high-impact use. The same kind of micro-damage you see in martial artists who spend decades hitting heavy bags. This tail wasn't just swinging occasionally. It was weaponized through constant use. Stegosaurus spent its life defending itself. Talk about evolutionary overkill. The tail wasn't Stegosaurus's only defense. The back was covered in 2 rows of plates, bony structures rising up to 2 feet tall, running from neck to tail. Paleontologists debated their function for decades. Thermoregulation, display. Then a 2013 study proved they served as armor. The plates weren't solid bone. They were honeycomb structures with a hard outer shell and softer interior. The same design modern engineers use in bulletproof vests. Impact dispersal. A bite that would penetrate muscle just deflected off the plate's angled surface. And those plates overlapped like shingles on a roof. No gaps, no weak points along the entire back. So Allosaurus had to target the sides or the underbelly. But the sides meant getting within range of the tail, and the underbelly required flipping a 5-ton animal with a low center of gravity. Neither option was survivable. A 2017 analysis of Stegosaurus remains revealed something else. The hip bones show extensive muscle attachment sites, anchor points for the most powerful tail muscles relative to body size ever recorded in a dinosaur. Those muscles could generate 2,000 pounds of force at the base of the tail. Multiply that through the lever arm of a 9-foot tail, and the spike tips hit with devastating momentum. You couldn't armor yourself against that. You couldn't block it. One hit to the leg shattered the femur. One hit to the ribs collapsed the lung. One hit to the spine severed the spinal cord. Allosaurus had no counter-strategy except don't get hit, which was functionally impossible when the tail could swing faster than you could react. When hunts went lethal, the Wyoming vertebra isn't the only evidence. A 2009 specimen from Colorado shows an Allosaurus pelvis with a healed puncture wound. The angle suggests the predator was behind and above the Stegosaurus, likely trying to bite down on the back, when the tail swung upward. One spike penetrated the hip socket. The bone shows infection scarring, but also remodeling. This Allosaurus survived, but barely. Hip injuries in predators are career-ending. You can't run, you can't ambush, you can't pursue prey. That Allosaurus would have starved within weeks unless it could scavenge or steal kills. The fossil record doesn't show how long it survived, but the injury itself tells the story. Stegosaurus didn't just injure attackers, it ended their hunting careers. Then there's the actual nightmare. A 2019 analysis of multiple Allosaurus specimens from Morrison Formation revealed something unexpected. 23% showed healed injuries consistent with puncture wounds, far higher than any other predator in the fossil record. Not all those injuries came from Stegosaurus. Some were from other predators, some from prey handling accidents. But the percentage suggests Jurassic predators took damage regularly, and Stegosaurus was the most dangerous prey in the ecosystem. A fossil trackway from Utah shows what happened during an actual encounter. Allosaurus tracks circling Stegosaurus tracks. The theropod footprints show sudden directional changes, evasive maneuvers. The Stegosaurus tracks barely move. It didn't run. It pivoted in place, tail sweeping. The predator tracks eventually move away. No blood trail, no drag marks. The hunt failed, and the Allosaurus left. You couldn't wear down Stegosaurus through persistence. It didn't get tired before you did. You couldn't wait for it to make a mistake because its defensive system ran on autopilot. Every attack was a coin flip, and heads meant you died. So how did Allosaurus succeed? A 2020 study from the Museum of Western Colorado analyzed 19 Stegosaurus specimens with Allosaurus tooth marks. The pattern emerged. Successful kills showed bite marks on the neck and throat, never the back, never near the tail. Target the front end. Avoid the weapon entirely. The biomechanics explain the strategy. Stegosaurus had a long neck for a plated dinosaur, roughly 8 feet from shoulder to head. That neck was unarmored, muscle and skin only, and the head was small, lightweight, vulnerable. If Allosaurus could get jaws around the neck, it could thrash and tear, sever the carotid artery, collapse the windpipe, death in minutes. But this required frontal attacks, and frontal attacks meant making yourself visible to the prey. No ambush, no surprise. You had to approach from the direction Stegosaurus could see you coming, which gave it time to position the tail. So Allosaurus used pack tactics. Fossil evidence suggests Allosaurus lived in loose social groups, not true packs, but temporary alliances around large kills. Multiple predators attacking from different angles. One draws the tail, another goes for the neck. Coordination wasn't complex, but it didn't need to be. It just required two predators willing to risk injury simultaneously. A 2012 analysis of a Cleveland Lloyd dinosaur quarry site supports this. The quarry preserved dozens of Allosaurus skeletons mixed with Stegosaurus remains. The bone bed suggests a mass death event, possibly a drought where predators and prey died together at a water source. But the tooth mark patterns on the Stegosaurus bones show multiple Allosaurus individuals feeding. Some marks healed, some didn't. The pattern suggests pack hunting or group scavenging, but even pack tactics had failure rates. That Wyoming vertebra with the fatal spike wound? That Allosaurus was part of a group hunt. Other predator tracks appear in the same fossil layer. The Stegosaurus killed one attacker and survived. The others scattered. This relationship drove both species. Allosaurus developed longer arms with stronger claws, better for gripping struggling prey. Stegosaurus evolved larger tail spikes with better muscle attachment points. A 2016 study comparing early Stegosaurus species to later ones found spike length increased 30% over 10 million years. Bigger weapons, heavier armor, all in response to predation pressure. And Allosaurus adapted too. Later, Morrison Formation specimens show thicker skull bones and more robust neck vertebrae, structures that could absorb more impact. This suggests Allosaurus was taking hits to the head and neck and surviving just long enough to reproduce. Natural selection favoring tougher predators. But the fossil record shows Stegosaurus was winning the arms race. For every Allosaurus skeleton showing healed injuries, there are 3 Stegosaurus skeletons with no predator damage at all. The defensive system was too effective. Adult Stegosaurus survival rates were higher than any other large herbivore in Morrison Formation. The tail spikes worked. And here's the cost. Allosaurus juveniles show higher mortality rates than adults. Young predators, inexperienced hunters, died learning to hunt Stegosaurus. The ones that survived to adulthood were the ones that learned to avoid the tail. Natural selection wasn't just favoring toughness, it was favoring intelligence and caution. Allosaurus didn't hunt Stegosaurus for sport. It hunted Stegosaurus because it was everywhere. Fossil census data from Morrison Formation shows Stegosaurus made up 15 to 20% of all dinosaur remains, the second most common large herbivore after Camarasaurus. You couldn't walk through Late Jurassic North America without encountering Stegosaurus, and it represented a massive calorie package. 5 tons of meat on a relatively slow animal. Top speed estimated at 6 to 7 miles per hour. Fast enough to escape you could catch it easily. The problem wasn't catching it. The problem was killing it without dying yourself. Other prey options existed. Camptosaurus was faster but smaller, less meat per kill. Camarasaurus was huge but moved in herds and could crush you with a tail swing. Diplodocus was too large for solo hunts. Stegosaurus fell into the Goldilocks zone, big enough to feed multiple predators, slow enough to catch, common enough to encounter regularly. The fact that it could kill you in one hit just meant you had to be smarter about the attack. And the fossil record proves Allosaurus figured it out. Enough Stegosaurus skeletons show fatal bite wounds to confirm the predator succeeded regularly, just not every time. For 5 million years, this battle defined Morrison Formation ecology. Allosaurus and Stegosaurus coexisted across Utah, Colorado, Wyoming, and Montana. Both species thrived. Both reproduced successfully. Neither drove the other extinct. The fossil record they left shows a predator-prey relationship balanced on a knife's edge. Allosaurus bite marks on Stegosaurus necks prove the predator could kill. Allosaurus vertebrae with spike punctures prove the prey could kill back. This wasn't lions hunting zebras. This was mutual lethality. Every hunt was survival for both animals. Then, 145 million years ago, environmental changes ended Stegosaurus. Climate shifts, vegetation die-offs, ecosystem collapse. Allosaurus survived another 5 million years before disappearing in the early Cretaceous. But the fossil bed at sites like Dinosaur National Monument preserves their relationship forever. Bones mixed together, predator and prey frozen in geological time. Stegosaurus, 5 tons with 4 tail spikes and a weapon system that killed on reflex. Allosaurus, 2 tons with slicing teeth and the hunting intelligence to survive one of the most dangerous prey relationships in history. For 5 million years, they killed each other across western North America. The punctured vertebrae prove it. The healed bones prove it wasn't one-sided. That's the reality of the Jurassic. Even herbivores could end apex predators in one hit.